Hello, and welcome to a programming session. And today we're going to be working on a website. So let's just get started. First, I want to show you my old website. And we can go right over here. And this was my old website. But I've decided that I'm going to create all of this again, really just for the fun of it. So we might as well go ahead and create something like a new website and open Neovite here. So I haven't coded in HTML for quite a while, which might not be a good thing. But let's just see how it goes. So we can have some sort of a head tag. And then there might be some sort of a shortcut here. So yeah, I think we'll just use the shortcut instead. And I'm pretty sure I enter. I think tab to skip. Is it enter? I don't know. And we can type in a basic title, and we have our style.css here. So we can go ahead and create all the files we'll ever need. And then we can do a script tag for the main.js. Okay, so now we should be able to go into the new website and run it, and it has hello world as the title. So that part is done. Now we just have to make it look good, which might be a bit of a problem because I'm not really good at designing stuff. But we can start with a name. And this one should also be like, I think what's called a header. And this is where we might want to start browsing some fonts. So Roboto maybe. And then this is very simple, we can just copy paste it. And then just put this over here. Okay, and now I might want to remove some of this. Oh, we can change this to 5 pixels. I don't know what the weight for that is. Anyways, font size can definitely be switched to about like 50 pixels, I would say. We want to be centered. There you go. And then we have to work on the header, which is gonna have some sort of a linear gradient. Let's just try red green. Okay, so it works. It's not aligned to the start. So margin top 0 pixels. Does not seem to be working. Maybe it's just margin 0 pixels. Okay. I think it would be better if we did HTML. So that doesn't work. HTML body. Yeah, let's see if we did something like this. And then we did some text down here. Okay, so it works fine. Now we just need the gradient to look a little better. So would that be like to right? Okay, that actually works. So we might also want to change the way the text looks in the meanwhile. For now, I'm just gonna make it work on my machine, and then we can work on making it work on other people's machines. Yeah, which is also we might want to center this text horizontally. That means that we could do bottom 20 pixels. Would that work? Top. So okay, that doesn't seem to be working. So maybe we could do something like a padding 0 pixels, 50 pixels, 0 pixels, 50 pixels. Let's just try this out. No, that does not seem to be working. Maybe it's the other way around. Okay, yeah, it seems to work. So we might want to remove that and instead opt for padding. And then we can also have this be a bit more weighted. Is that like RAM or something? So I don't know what measure the weight is. And we'll use Reddit, I guess. So that does not seem to be helpful. So you could do bold or something, but I would rather customize it. What unit does font weight use HTML? Oh, it's just numbers. Okay, so I guess that's why I was so confused. And we can make that pretty high. Okay, I think that's too high. But we can also make it... I would say this is kind of good. And then I feel like if we have text, it might look really good if we had a linear gradient. So we can do that in the same, like, let's just do random colors. Yellow and blue. Okay, that does not seem to be working. So maybe font color. No. Okay. So we can use this website here to generate some cool color palettes. And these are the ones we have. Okay, I will have to keep that in mind, and then we can use it to, you can take 2 of these and we can make them have a gradient. So yeah, this looks way better already. And then we can do, so how do you make it so the text has a gradient? So CSS text gradient. So it's background image. Let's check if that truly works. So they did also color none. What else did they do? Background clip. Okay. This is what does it. You have to clip the background to make it appear when the text does. This is not. Okay, do I remove the color? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So what about this? This one works. Okay. So seems to be I needed to include WebKit. So oh no, so it's all with this text fill color thing. Do we even need this? Okay, yes, we do need this. So tell the background to clip to the text, and then we tell the text color to be transparent so the background fills. Okay, so that seems to make some sense. So now we just need to pick the actual colors. And I don't think I did this. So it doesn't seem to be that much of a difference. Maybe if we switched it with something like Dusty Olive, is something where you'd actually see the difference. Oh, I accidentally. Okay, we can take 2 of these. Say fuchsia, pop, and light coral. It does not let me change my tab with command. Okay, that does not seem to be very helpful. Okay, this looks somewhat good, I guess. And now we just gotta work on maybe the body. So there we go. We can have some sort of this theme established. Let's just start by looking at my GitHub to see what I want to capitalize on. Maybe my YouTube channel too. Okay. So these are my videos. Let's see what I can put on this so-called resume. Okay, operating system. Definitely operating system. We will do more work on that. Okay, so operating system emulator in HTML. We have a register-based VM, bunch of programming languages here, a video editor, a template manager, a Google Sites. Yeah, another programming language. This is something that I don't think I fully updated it. I was working on adding C in JavaScript, which is actually one of my videos. This one over here. And array library, along with the CLibs, which also has the array library. So we have a duplicate here. That's actually interesting. I might want to fix that. But we can start by looking at the old website and just seeing, like, comparing it. Yeah, okay, so to be honest, I think this one is better. So we will work on this thing. I'll probably use, like, I've used this a good amount of times, but I haven't exactly mastered how to get this working. But this one is genuine. So, okay, let's just do this. So we need some sort of a bio. Okay, let's call this a bio actually, because it's like a description. So and then we can put something like a bio tag over here. Then we can something radius, border radius. Okay, so I think this should be float to the left and width is 50%. Again, we need some sort of, for now let's just use this as the font. Okay, also too large. But now I want a separate font for this. So let's see what we can do. Fonts. Okay, I don't see the difference between OpenCell and Sans and Roboto. I can sort of see it. It doesn't seem like that much though. Yeah, these all basically look the same, to be honest. Montserrat, okay. It looks somewhat different, so you can see that. I think we already included this, and we only need to include that once, so we can just go ahead and put that in. wait. Yeah, so for some reason, when I'm trying to duplicate the indent tab, which for me is this, I'm trying to do it 2, and then it puts these 2 lines to and indent them. I just want to indent this 2 times. So I think you have to do something like this, where you highlight in visual mode and then you do this one. I don't know. It's confusing, but it's cool, I guess. And then we can get in a Montserrat. Oh, this one includes both of them. So considering that this one includes both of them, we can just get rid of this one. And let's just decide. Okay, it's way too small. It's way too small. And the weight is way too little. Okay, so we have somewhat of a panel here. Somewhat of a panel, I'd assume, and we might want to make the border a bit like that, and we also might want to add some space here. Plus we might want to add some padding to the left, like let's say 30 pixels, and we can make this like 45%. I'm interested. Okay, so I think we have a okay, I think that's the one I'm talking about is in my channel. I'm interested in custom and legacy programming languages, SQL libraries, operating systems, bedrock computing, web UI. Okay, that's a lot. That has to be somewhat good. So I'm fascinated by, okay, so legacy might just ring a bell, so we might want to avoid that. I'm fascinated by the mysteries of computer science and electronics. Wait, okay, so that's not really, I feel like if that should be obvious. I'm a full stack developer. Who's working on multiple projects. Yeah, I might want to reword this later on because it's not really the best. Welcome to my website, I guess. I'm a full stack developer who's working on multiple projects. Feel free to check them below. Okay, so we have space here. What are we going to use that for? I think we might as well look at the website again. Full stack developer. Oh, programming languages I coded. Okay. So I guess we can have some sort of that. So programming languages I use, and this one can be the flow to the right. No, except we don't have anything here. Maybe we do. Okay, it doesn't. We can't see it. Languages. Okay, so I don't really want it to float to the right, like as in. I think I don't need that. Automatically does that. Okay. Padding left 30 pixels. We might as well just use Montserrat again, but this time a bit smaller. Okay, so programming languages I use. Then we need a bullet point, which is a unordered list. And then we can have the closing tag over here. And let's just do C. Okay, that's not. That is nowhere near. It won't let me change the padding. So I just want to move the padding. Is it anything related to the span? Okay, yeah. So that looks like it did change stuff. And we could change these to a span, and it still looks off. But I think now we can change it. So that just moves. The UL won't move. So we need something like this for the children. Let's see if that works. Is it the other way around? Is that even a command in HTML? No, okay. So maybe it's... Yeah, okay, that's right. Now we just need padding left. Display inline. So what if we change it to the list items? Or maybe it's... Yeah, so can we do a chain loop like this? Yes, we can. And padding left seems to be moving it further left. So we need padding right. And no background. So it won't move any further. I don't know. If we remove it, it looks fine. So maybe this one should be floating to the right. Okay, no, I want this one to float to the right. Maybe we could change this to a span, and that would make it inline. So I do like the way it looks like it's highlighting this text, but also no. So maybe we could stick to that design where we don't need a padding left, and then this can be a div, and then we don't need this. Okay, so if you zoom out, it could fit on one line, but nobody's probably doing that, so this is probably going to be how it looks. And we might need a padding right, because that period appears to be like way too close. So padding left and right by 10 pixels for the long element. So okay, that looks good. And then programming languages use so C, C++, Rust, assembly D tax. Well, these are all like experimental programming languages, I guess. So Java, HTML language, CSS styling language, and JavaScript. In Python. Okay, so that looks. I might want to change them with the icons later on. That would be cool. I'll do that later, I guess. So we have this. It looks kind of bad because it's like there's nothing on the whole this space over here. But we'll fix that eventually. Next, we gotta work on project section. This is where we can have a bunch of, or maybe we could create our own tag called link, and then over here, okay, I don't think that would work actually. So we just need a span, and we need it to have and link leading to one of my projects. Oh, so it's right over there. Now for projects as well, we need the same color change and font change. And I can't see this one. Oh, VM. There you go. So maybe we can put this in a class identifier, and then we can put this 2 in here, and in here we don't have to do anything for now. So all of these, I want these to be tabbed, so we can put some sort of a projects list, and then for the projects list, we can have some padding, and we can also make all of these blue. So that might be something you have to change over here. So span with the class of link gets this, and A's need to have some font decoration none. So you have an arrow here. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you have to change the. So maybe you could do. Is it the other way around? Yeah, I believe it is. Because it's, yeah. So. So Will the font decoration non-fit quick? No. Remove font decoration from link. Text decoration. Okay, that was close enough. Okay. So if we look at this website over here, this is how it looks. So that'll actually way better. And like the format it was built in. Like and this should be, it's just a character, just exact character. So they didn't, yeah, okay. So this didn't. Okay, now let's just write down our projects. I think we can have some sort of div and project. So now we need to change it to div.project. There you go. So a simple register based virtual machine. Yeah, so it's its own assembly. And I think it should be display lock for now. Okay, so this is more of a description, so we might as well put that in its own tag. So these description tags, they should have a smaller font size. So these projects don't look that good right now. Maybe if they had, each of them had their own little box, that might be kind of cool. So if we gave each div.project a background of white for now, we'll find a better color soon. Okay, that's what's. And then we can make the border radius round as usual, padding left 30 pixels so we can see it. The width only needs to take up like 50% of the screen. Actually more like 45%. How do you do like width fit adjust. Use the following, yeah, okay. So width fit content. Okay, padding right 30 pixels. There we go. So these are going to be little boxes, and you might have a carousel of these. What I mean by that is, okay, so image. So what I mean by that is, maybe in CSS. So image list, image photo. So this the list of images. Image gallery. Not image gallery. I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't mean it like this. I mean like a list where you get to see them. So also navigation bars. They're here. Is it image modal? No, really, but that's cool, I guess. Speaking of which, we need to make a website more interactive. So maybe this one is something that like grows in size when it's so how do I like adjust the width? I want to make it larger from its current width. So add to current width CSS. So calc, for example, sudo code, since margins will stack others using calc. I like calc better. So we can just make it wider for now. That does not seem to be a smooth transition. So first of all, we can make. So maybe we just have to make it something like specific, like. Yeah, honestly, I like this. I like this width. It looks good. So yeah, now we can do the same with height, and we can make this sort of a height fit to content. Fit content. Okay. Okay, so I don't really like. I want to grow the height, like, but it won't let me. And I wanted to transition, so transition. However, actually, we can look at that gallery over here. The responsive gallery. And so it's like a transition that's being used. Transform, okay. It's basically just that simple. But make it transition. Oh, that's the one you choose here. So you just say that when it transforms. So this is something I'm not used to. Yeah, and I might actually like this normal thing more. Oh, so we need width, height. Yeah, okay, so this isn't actually moving. maybe it's just better to use transform. So transform and scale. But I don't like how it moves. I want to stay. That's because the padding is done here. If you want it to be done here. Okay, then we still need padding for this too. So that's caused by this, right? So we still want it to move to the right to account for that. That's called margin. So margin left, scale 1.1. Will that work? No. Because we didn't transition it, so. I don't know if you can do multiple things. So transition multiple properties in HTML and CSS. Okay, I don't see why all isn't done here if that's an option. And if you click on it, it should expand. Okay, so we may want to. Use something here, but it still looks like it's not using a good amount of space. I feel like if we just managed to get these two on the same line, so could we do float right? Actually, I don't want to do that because then that would make. Yeah, I think projects are the main thing. So I feel like programming languages, that's the one that should be floated to the left. Okay. So that's not what I intended to happen. I don't know how that happened. I think it's because it's a float right. So we might want to make sure that we do not want the bio sticking here. But it still does that, which I don't like. Okay, so maybe like this, where we have the programming languages I use on the right and the projects on the left. Okay, that seems like it could work. So we just have to write more projects. We can have Inferno OS. A simple operating system. Anyways, if you're watching this video, thank you. Thanks for your support. So I think that's something more that would happen here. So we got a simple register-based virtual machine with its own assembly and a simple operating system. And okay, so the clicking part appears for the whole thing because of the way I created it. That's not what I want, so not display block. But what we have to do to make up for that is we have to make a description block. And then we might need margin bottom too for each of these projects. Like we have padding bottom. So I think I put an extra. That's way too much. So we might need a small, like 10 pixels, just to give it some breathing room. And the same can be said for the top. Okay. So I like how this turned out. I still think that maybe when you click this button, it could go to a full screen where it tells us more about this project. Maybe since a lot of these things that I've done have their own YouTube video on my YouTube channel, maybe you could redirect it to that YouTube channel when you click it. It's just really fascinating to think about. What if we tried to do that? So what if we tried to do on-click? So we want to bring our JS in. We obviously want to bring our JS in. This is about the time. And I have a theoretical idea that I might want to steal. So it's from this guy, which is a huge inspiration, and it's huge inspiration for me, and it's an age timer. Now I don't know if like taking this idea would be disrespectful or like I need to give him credits or something. Also, but his website is really cool, actually. But I would like to tell you that I had the idea to make a website myself from a long time ago. But I just looked at this project and I saw the age timer and I thought that would be a really cool idea. Plus the project's timeline. How does he have projects in 2027? Does he like plan them? I think he plans them. It may be because we're already like getting done with 2027. He's planning in the future. Either way, maybe it's referring here, and this is I don't know. But anyways, maybe we could have something like an age timer. I think that might be a good idea. So it's a pretty simple idea. Just I am then a span use old. So in the span will be age. Will be age block. Age num. Okay. So we still want to you won't be able to see it over here because it comes out somewhere. It comes out here. And we also want to do something like identify. I am identify years old. Speaking of which, I think the whole never mind. Actually, I think the whole body, there's some parts that we're reusing a lot, like the whole Montserrat thing. So you can just take that away and keep these two, because those are the ones that might change a lot. And it looks the same. Also, what we could change, make it always have this color so I don't have to change it manually. Okay. Yeah, I might want to make this black actually. So the bio is gonna be black just because you got some balance here. And then I am identify years old. This. So now we can go ahead and document the get element by ID age num in the inner HTML will be something. So now we know that hello AJS did not load. Maybe we need to put this at the end. Yes, okay. So get the time in JS. Date.get time. No, I want to get the current time. New date.get time divided by second. We'll give you the seconds since midnight. Okay. So console.log. See how many seconds have passed since 19. So would you look at that? That's a large number. So incorrect. It's an incomplete solution because it technically 0.933 would be in milliseconds. Okay. So this one would be better, is what they're saying. So date class in JS. Now we can use something like get full year, where we just so current date, not just gonna be new date, and we can get the full year, which it is right now, 2026. Okay. So I think I have a theoretical idea. So it, as said here, since midnight, okay, between this time and it says this. So let's see. So let's do divided by 1,000 math. Okay, so seconds, current date divided by 1,000. I'll put into math around, and then seconds minus this. We get this. So get wait. So now it's pretty obvious. So once we get the seconds old, I think this can be simplified over here. And then we can do seconds old divided by this divided by 60. So this is how many hours old I am divided by 12, which is how many days old I am, divided by 365, which is how many years old I am. That does not seem to be true. 24. And I hope that's true. You know, all you gotta do is just keep refreshing that. It seems to be different each time. Okay, so we're using math.round. Okay. Now all we gotta do is while true, we do this whole thing again. And then we output the use old. Okay, close it. We have to close it. So it's taking way too long. Now, I think we can do something like this. So we start with seconds old, then we calculate the use old each time, and then we can add 1 for each time a second has passed. So we don't have to execute it each time, we only execute it once. Now already we can just look at this. Oh, it's still loading. Oh, I don't think it likes while 2 loops. It does not like while 2 loops. Okay. So it changes, it goes forward. And now we need do something every second in JavaScript. And oh, timeout. So now we want to do something every 100 milliseconds, which is do this in seconds old. I think this is in milliseconds, so 0.5. No, 0.1. So it appears to be in seconds. So set timeout. Set timer is a so set interval. I think I like interval better. Okay, it works. So now I just need to change that to something like 100. Add 0.1 seconds. And it seems to work, but it's not as good as this, guys, because it's okay. His is always loading, so we might want to change that to 0.01. Let's compare them. Okay. I think it should add up, theoretically. Let's do that. Okay, so now I might want to put out age and maybe like text line it to the center. Which it doesn't want to do. It's because it's age block. And then we can make that a bit larger. Why is it moving so much? Because his doesn't seem to move as much. I do wonder how he does his, because his is Oh, I must admit, better than mine. Honestly, everything's better than this website, but I spent an hour on it, and I'm not that good at web design. So I would say this is somewhat good. Oh, also we definitely need padding over here. So it's called margin, I believe. What I'm looking for. There we go. So this is the website. I need to work on more, actually. I need to make more entries. Okay, let's just create more. This is very simple part of it. So custom templating library. And then we need to include Crazy OS. So operating system, emulator on the web. We have to include that. Simple embedded so we can just keep adding more. So key meant for conciseness, I guess. And then key website does not seem to be here. So I believe it's in portfolio and then this. So this is going to be a bit different. Key website, which is a simple website for key. And let's see what else I have to. Okay, so a strongly macro driven derived from an April Fool's joke. Okay, because that is true, I believe. And then we need to switch it to Boot Sharp. Compiled programming language. So unnamed. A highly modular programming language with a programming language creating helper, something like that. We have a good amount of projects here. I think we could also use this left panel and just fill it with projects. That would be a good idea. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Because it's flooding this area. And I just have to find out how to do that. How to make it so it goes on to the next. I think that would happen automatically if I change the projects list and I change the height to 30%. So enough so there's room, but enough so some of them have to go, and then we have to change the height. So make that. Okay, so that does not seem too big. Maybe we can check in the inspect panel. So it appears as though projects list doesn't hold that. So okay, I think maybe we're including too few pixels in the project list. So if I change it, it just makes each one of them bigger. I feel like I'm modifying individuals rather than... Okay, so part of it's this. Has to be this. Part of it has to be this. So part of it has to be how this projects panel. Let's do B. Yeah, okay, that should be for a reason. I feel like we could at least have an individual panel for scrolling there. I don't know. New compiled programming language. So if I change the width of these changes with them. So I feel like the descriptions aren't long enough to need to take. Maybe they could be long enough soon. Okay, so we need to add the video editor. A simple video editor. But it's pretty buggy, I guess. So a travel planner is a travel planner. Okay, so I think we'll include that. A travel planner that suggests locations and mainly just locations to travel to, that advises travel locations. I think we can phrase it like that. And then not that much more. Okay, we have pretty important project here. An alternative to Google Sites. Although nearly not as good. Okay. Z.js. A fusion of Node.js and React.js made as another April Fool's joke. Now we have this still. We still have a lot. So, and we haven't even included so graphics library. a retained did I not create a UIML repo? I didn't create it yet. Let's just create that real quick. So we need to show the UIML. A simple UI framework with a markup, a multi-layered and I'm just gonna set that up real quick. Okay, so we need a new window for this. Hopefully if I quit this, okay. So git init, git add first commit, remote add origin. Main is a new one, so git branch dash m main. What am I doing? The spec main does not match any. So move origins in git. Git remote remove origin. So now let's try that again. Git add git commit okay, on untracked files. Yeah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So now we need to do that. Now we need to add it, which we just did. We do not want executables inside of our code. Remove that. UIML. Example is just code. Okay, so now we need to removed executable. Okay, ubranch is not deleted main. Yes, I believe I added that just now. Okay, untracked. I don't want to add. I don't know. Okay, hopefully this works. Everything up to date. So it didn't delete it. It did not delete that. Deleted main. I know. I do want to. Ubranch is up to date. I commit rm main. Git rm main. Commit remove executable. Then do this. Okay, the UI framework is now here, so we can finally add probably one of the most important projects to the list. UI framework. A full UI, full multi-layered UI framework with its own alternatives to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And we can go ahead and do that in the new UI underscore framework. There we go. So that seems to work. A retained UI built on Objective-C due to macOS restraints. to create graphical applications. Probably because of a lack of backwards compatibility with the hardware it was built on. And then we have I am an immediate graphical library, an immediate based graphical library, again also built on Objective-C, as an alternative, as a custom-made approach to outline GI. Okay, so this appears to be it. Okay, so this keeps changing and I don't think that's that good. So maybe we can go here and do dot to fixed. With a specific number. And it limits how much it moves, so we can put as many decimal places to it as we want. I think this amount is good. But honestly 15 is better, so so I changed some of the colors here. Okay, so maybe it would be better if we had these projects have a full screen mode. So I think that's something like an on click. So projects and we can get all the projects and then print them out. And here we get a collection of all the projects. Okay, so now that we have the list, we can just go in an array here, and for each of these, we can just print them out. And for this, we should be able to see all of the individual items. Array.from, okay, so over here, we can see all of the projects. And now I just want to add an on click to them, so we can add a on click function. Which just prints that it got clicked. and it might be okay, so now it's able to tell when it's clicked, and now I just want to be able to transition into a full screen menu. So maybe you could do that with a separate tag called project full screen. Which is gonna have a width of 100 and a height of 100. And for now we can just do we can just add this full screen element to anything when it's pressed. And now it should be able to get the underscore full screen. But this property doesn't seem to be working. So we can also change a background color, which transitions it to this. So actually, instead of a full screen, we can change the width and height to 100%. And now it transitions the width properly, but it will not transition the height. So make child unreliant of parent in CSS. And that would be all initial or all unset. So that removes all the styles in there, which is not what we want. So that does actually sort of work. But it doesn't really transition, so maybe we could go to get elements by tag name, which I hope is a function. Okay. And then we need to add child. Do this. And it should now be removed from the list. Add child. So I think it's append child. And now it's down in the body tag, all the way over here. Okay, so now we need it to go in a tag that does not have any physical constraints. Which I think this does. So it moves it down. but now it's all unformatted. So you could also do transform. It's a large number. And that does work. So okay, so that sort of works, but maybe with the margin. Okay, so this does seem to work with a smaller number. And it does. So maybe we could have a third class. With a link to this video. So we could use another link. And do something like watch on YouTube. Okay, and now this seems to work. And we can modify that and give it a smaller font, hopefully. So maybe something like this. And I think this seems to be good. And the second thing is there can be a toggle. So we can add something like selected, and if class list, so then we can do so if there's a selected, for now we can just console.log this. And we get project, but the next time we click it, we get project and selected. So this is pretty simple, and now we just have to do if selected is equal to 0, then we do this, and do else if it is selected, then we need to revert to the previous settings, and that would be 1.0 and 0 pixels, and then we remove selected. So now this is sort of like a toggle where you can watch it, and then we can add a margin bottom. It's originally 50 pixels, but we can raise it to 100 pixels when it's selected. So it's moving the other items along with it. And it's also covering this, so we can decide that later. And it also covers the project, so we might want to add a margin top, which by default I assume is 0 pixels. And we don't want it to move that much, maybe 50. Maybe 60. So this seems to work, and then we have a watch on YouTube that leads directly to the video. So we can make this field field appear only when it's zoomed in. And what I mean by that is .project YouTube .selected, and if it's selected, it will have a display inline, and otherwise it has a display of inline. So that doesn't seem to work. I think a better way to do this would actually be by width and height. So maybe it's just the order. So you can try something where width and height is 0 in this circumstance, but not in this circumstance. Okay. A better option might just be to change it manually. So firstly we have a display none, and if we're going to select it, it can be set to display of inline, and otherwise it will also be none. So that seemed to change. Oh, I think that's because we need to change the child, the project YouTube. So that's going to be the third child. So we can go ahead and do a YouTube link, which is this, and we can change that only. And that actually transitions it. But we also want this to be similar to the other ones with the text decoration. So we might just want to extend that to all links. And it's also covering this. So maybe we could move that further down and have a transition for that. Because I don't want it to cover it. So maybe this one moves down. That might be a good idea. And we can, the transition all one, we could, let's see if this works, set it to everything. So now when anything moves, it does a transition, which means that, okay, so maybe we switch that. Cannot read properties of undefined. So does display equals none switch the, I think it does actually delete the YouTube thing. So if we have to set it to inline, so maybe the best strategy over here is, instead of display none, just transform with a scale of 0, 0. And we can adjust that over here to a scale with a 0, 0 and scale of a 1.0. So this one already has it, and oh, I think the true problem might be, oh, okay. So the true thing is that yeah, so it works in this one. It doesn't work on these ones because you don't have that. So we could do a simple program where for each project we add this. Actually, that won't work because we have separate links. So we just have to update this, I guess. Which means watching some of my videos. So this is going to be the playlist. This is going to be the UI video. Maybe we also need cases for when it's not supported. So if YouTube link, then we're going to modify it. And same applies here. Now nothing here. Nothing here. I think we have a playlist for key. So we can just put that. And put it over here. And z.js is the same thing, it's a playlist. And then we can put z.js over here. Graphics library, so that one's over here. And I think we also forgot about another project. Okay, so these ones have their own YouTubes that lead to the correct videos. And for the ones that don't have it, it doesn't really change. But for the ones that do, okay, so I think I might have, wait. Okay, so it's still covering this area. We might want to move that down, which is where I was gonna do the transition. And if I do that, it should all be fine. It should all work. And then the clicked thing, we can remove that. And that should basically be it. So we want to move this down. And okay, so we can go ahead and when it's selected, probably want to have that right over here. And here we might want to dot style dot margin top, something like this. That does move it out of the way. But we want to move it just enough. And then we can move it back over here to 0 pixels. But that doesn't work for all of them actually, because they all have different heights. Okay, so we can do a little check. We can see if we can get the position of the item that's pressed. So element.get bounding client react. Okay. So this just gives us a lot of stuff, and we want to get the Y. And we want to compare that to the Y of the programming languages thing. And actually to the bottom. Okay, so now we can do a simple check. So in below let's just do this for now and see. Okay, so now if it's in the way, it has to go down the difference. So if we're not beneath them, then it has to move beneath this one. So then we have to, actually have to get the difference between this element's between the bottom here and the top here. So the exact opposite. And it's that. So we switch that to the difference plus pixel. And this doesn't move it exactly enough, so but it's always by an exact constraint, which is good. So we can do plus 30 over here, plus 100. Let's just find the number here, and that's the number that works. So if nothing works here, that's gonna be pretty simple, just your pixels. And then from here on it doesn't update that. So it only moves this when we need space. And that's cool, but I also want this panel to be used. Anyways, we could use the icons for these programming languages rather than them, and then maybe do some sort of a gallery or something like that. So that might be something we do later. But this website's turning out pretty good, I feel. Now, not as good as the previous one, but we'll get there soon. And I'm gonna keep posting devlogs on how this website is going. But as of right now, it is pretty cool. But there's also more projects that I haven't put in here, like that Rust project. So there's a good amount of projects that I can search for here. Oh, Odin. So I guess we didn't include that. And we might want to. So we can just add that here, and it's 4 characters, so it'll go right over here. And this is the list. Now, so there are some more apps that, some more projects that I made that I'm gonna add here. But I feel like this is most of the projects that I've talked about, and it might be a good amount for now. Anyways, bye.